We all want more usable space in our homes. Moving a bulky utility appliance out of a prime closet or garage and into the unused cavity of the attic seems like a brilliant architectural hack. You immediately reclaim premium square footage for a pantry or extra storage. But that architectural hack comes with a very literal overhang. You are suspending a 50-gallon tank of highly pressurized, scalding water directly above your living space. When the metal casing finally gives out, that water is coming straight down. This is the core trade-off. You gain a few square feet of floor space downstairs, but you drastically expand the potential blast zone if the appliance fails. If a tank leaks in a ground floor garage, you mop up a wet concrete slab. If that same tank leaks in the attic, the water soaks through the thermal insulation, ruins the drywall ceiling, cascades down the wall studs, and ruins the flooring below. It forces a practical question. Is hiding an ugly appliance really worth increasing your home's vulnerability to major water damage? Putting your water heater in the ceiling is the ultimate out-of-sight, out-of-mind gamble. It takes a routine household appliance and essentially weaponizes gravity against the rest of your house. A lot of homeowners assume they can just shove the tank between the roof trusses and forget about it. It sounds simple until you actually look at the building codes. Under Section 502.3 of the International Plumbing Code, you can't just place a water heater up there. You have to build out specific structural pathways to guarantee plumbers can safely service or extract the unit. This diagram outlines the code requirements. You need an unobstructed passageway, 30 inches high and 22 wide, running from the access point to the heater, with continuous solid flooring, 24 inches wide. Furthermore, a level workspace directly in front of the service panel, measuring exactly 30 by 30 inches. These strict measurements exist for a very practical reason. A dead, waterlogged tank is incredibly heavy, and a plumber needs enough leverage to safely drag it out of a cramped, hot space without falling through the ceiling. Building out these reinforced catwalks and service decks requires real carpentry work before the plumber even touches a pipe. That adds substantial labor and material costs to the installation. The perceived convenience quickly fades. You might save a utility closet downstairs, but you end up paying for a miniature construction project up in the rafters. Even with proper flooring, an attic is a hostile environment. It bakes in the summer and freezes in the winter, making it the last place anyone wants to spend an afternoon. This creates what we call maintenance friction. When an appliance is difficult and uncomfortable to reach, human psychology kicks in and we simply stop checking on it. The first casualty of this friction is the routine tank flush. Plumbers recommend draining the system every 6 to 12 months to clear out hard water sediment. But dragging a hose up a drop-down ladder means it rarely happens. The second skipped task is checking the anode rod. This is a metal component designed to attract corrosive elements in the water, so they eat the rod instead of the tank's steel lining. It needs to be replaced every few years. Without those regular flushes and fresh anode rods, sediment builds up at the bottom and rust takes hold. The interior lining begins to corrode, blistering and thinning until the metal finally cracks under the immense water pressure. Add in the relentless summer heat radiating from the roof deck, which puts even more thermal stress on the equipment, and the overall lifespan of the unit shrinks considerably. By putting the equipment completely out of sight, a routine chore is easily ignored, and an ignored water tank is practically guaranteed to fail early. So let's say the inevitable happens. The neglected tank finally rusts through and drops several dozen gallons of water onto your living room rug. Most homeowners assume their standard property insurance policy will step in and cover the thousands of dollars needed for drywall repair and mold mitigation. This flowchart maps out how adjusters evaluate claims. They cover damage that is sudden and accidental, like a frozen pipe bursting, but they explicitly exclude normal wear and tear. When an adjuster finds sediment, a dissolved anode rod, and rust, they trace the leak back to skipped maintenance. Because the homeowner neglected upkeep, the claim is denied. You might have saved a few square feet in the laundry room, but that spatial efficiency can cost you $10,000 out of pocket when the insurance company refuses to pay. For homeowners aware of these risks, the most popular upgrade is ditching the traditional tank and mounting a modern, tankless water heater to the attic wall. The main benefit is immediate. You completely eliminate the heavy reservoir of standing water, removing the threat of 50 gallons dropping all at once. But there is a persistent myth that tankless systems are entirely leak-proof. They heat water on demand, which means they still have active, pressurized water lines running into and out of the unit. Those threaded connections, valves, and pipes will eventually degrade and leak, just like any other plumbing fixture. Because of this reality, plumbing codes still mandate that tankless units installed in attics must have a dedicated catch pan underneath them. Going tankless minimizes the volume of a potential flood, but it doesn't remove the hazard of overhead plumbing. Gravity still pulls every slow drip and pipe failure straight down into your ceiling. Placing a water heater in the attic optimizes your floor plan at the direct expense of easy maintenance and increased financial liability. This decision tree outlines the best path forward. If you are building a new home or doing a major gut renovation, you should route the plumbing to keep the water heater on the ground floor, either in a garage or a dedicated utility closet. For existing homeowners, you don't necessarily have to spend thousands of dollars to relocate your current setup, but you do have to actively manage the risk. First, check the manufacturer date on the unit's label. If that tank is anywhere between 8 and 12 years old, you need to budget for a replacement right away. The single most important upgrade you can make to an existing attic installation is adding an active leak detection system tied to an automatic shutoff valve. Technology like a water cop system places a moisture sensor right in the drain pan. The second a leak begins, the sensor triggers a mechanical valve on your main line that snaps shut, killing water pressure to the tank entirely. Pair that with a code-compliant catch pan that is correctly piped to drain outside your home, so any residual dripping is safely routed away from your drywall. You can't change the unforgiving math of a heavy tank perched over your living room, but by adding active mitigation, you ensure that a minor leak up in the rafters stays a minor leak, instead of a catastrophic home failure.